you're going to see gains from that. So tap that out and then progress from there. You want to do the minimal
Mhm.
effective dose.
Mhm.
Um, and then
That's
as we,
key. That is key. Minimal effective dose. Sorry to cut you off, but that is something that I've been personally trying to hone in on. Of it's easy to go overboard in the gym. It's fun. Like once you get into it, it's like, yeah, maybe I'll do one more set. It's like do the least amount to get the most gain. I just try to always remind myself of that because I've screwed that up before. And I would say, I would also add to your point of if you haven't lifted before, when he said don't go heavyweight, go low weight or start no weight. I mean, people that do air squats who haven't squatted are sore as hell the
yeah.
next day. Adaptation phases. If somebody doesn't know what that means, email one of us and we'll help you through understanding that a little bit more. Like it is on paper, it sounds very easy. Go in a gym and do it, and you'll be glad you spent the time before you put weight on the bar. You don't want to injure yourself lifting. That is not the point. And then, sorry, so I cut you off there. And then going to maintenance would be so that's more heavy. And let's assume someone's been lifting. We'll take like the noob
Mhm.
out of it. They've been lifting, they've done the higher volume in the base phase. So then when they're getting towards racing, are they lifting heavier? And then what's the frequency?
So to clarify, like I would say during the base season, your goal is to get stronger. So that's where we look at the progressive overload. Once you get to like the true build phase towards racing, is just about maintenance. So you shouldn't be increasing weight at that point.
Okay.
So again, back to like the minimal effective dose, one heavier lift per week should be enough to maintain most, if not all, of your strength. And then I've actually found it really beneficial to do a second lift, a lighter lift later on in the week. And that can even be done from home. And I think I've found that it actually helps to maintain strength gains so that when you go into the gym, if you go to the gym once a week on Wednesday, when you get back in the gym, you don't feel like you haven't lifted in a week and you kind
Mhm.
of have the movement patterns down. You don't feel like you get stale. Because I've tried lifting just once a week. And if you haven't lifted in a week and you get back in the gym, you just feel kind of stale. But
Yeah.
I've also found that it actually minimizes soreness a lot. So like just random template of what I think works really well for maintenance lifting during the season is 1 day per week of heavier lifting. But you should not be progressing past the highest weight that you lifted during the base season. And
Okay.
then one lighter session maybe on the weekend. And you can even just do that from home. Like if you have some dumbbells, do some goblet squats with 40 pounds or something like that. And then with that heavier session, you're also going to be doing less volume. So you want to maintain the intensity, but you want to do less volume. You want to be tapping out the weight because you're really trying to maintain those neural adaptations. You're trying to maintain that signal between your muscles and your brain, but you basically just want to kind of tickle the heavy weights and then like shut it down. So do kind of like a pyramid. So do 10 reps, 6 reps, or do 10 reps, 8 reps, 5 reps, and then maybe do 2 sets at kind of like your max weight and then shut it down. Um, and then I think also in terms of programming, it's good to do it before a rest day so that you're not compromising any of your bike sessions because the bike is a priority at that point and the lifting is secondary. And I think even if you lose 10% of your strength, but you're able to train with high quality on the bike, then you're not gonna if I'm squatting in December 150 pounds and then all of a sudden in July I can only squat 140 pounds, it's not gonna affect my cycling like at all.
No.
So you're better off being conservative and just not worrying about it. And as long as you're lifting consistently, even if you have a race and you haven't lifted in 2 weeks at some point in the year, like you're still going to maintain most of the strength that you built, and you're not going to notice a significant difference. But if you stop lifting altogether, then you are going to
Oh,
lose
dude,
those gains.
yeah. The noticeable difference in people that haven't lifted, I don't think, well, they're not going to relate to this, but like when you are smashing in at FTP or higher and you just, I don't even know how to describe it. People, when it's like this one guy George used to be like, there's just another gear. He's like, I feel like a monster when I come out from lifting a ton. And it is just the power that you can feel delivering through the pedals. If I only do once a week, I do feel that decreases. And so I've been trying to do the twice a week, lighter lift. And for someone that wants to do it at home, like Landry's saying, it's amazing what you can do with a 30 or 40 or 50-pound kettlebell. If you don't have dumbbells and you don't want to invest or don't have a space for like a whole gym setup, you don't need that. You can get by with so much with goblet squats and renegade rows. And there's just so many exercises you can do to stay sharp so that when you go back and lift heavy, you're ready to do it. And I'm excited to I was getting into the trap of trying to keep all the highest weight possible. And it's just not realistic when I'm trying to do really hard interval sessions or hard 4 hour rides or whatever. So it's let the numbers come down. And I really think, if you're at body weight and squatting, there's benefit from that as the highest when you're in a maintenance phase. Like, I think that multiplier is going to come down over time. And as you said before, the minimal dose for the most effect on your cycling. We're not weightlifters.